Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's lesson is going to be on creating camera shutters. A couple years back I saw this sketch. Yep, there it is. And with that sketch you needed to have a hex cutting system piece, which a lot of people don't have because it was a special gift. And it looked a little complicated, a lot of fiddly things to get the project done, and if you want to swap out colors you needed to create a template. It was a little tricky, so I thought, okay, I gotta find a better way for that, and I did. So I'll take you into the craft room and I have a chart so you can make your camera shutters either very small, a little bit larger. You can make them in different colors. Lots of fun, two-tone paper, or very large. So following the chart I have, you can create them any size you want. They'll be great on any layout pages, and I'll give you some ideas and suggestions of sketches along the way. So let's go craft. All right, if we're ready to go, let's make some shutters. The size I am going to create, I'm just double checking my math formula, so I'm going to be making one at so my finished size is the 6.5 inch size, which would be the largest circle in the circle cutter, with the cutting on the outside with the blue blade. And to cut my final papers, I'm going to need to go one size in, so I'm going to cut with the green blade. So I do have my blue blade, my green blade, and my large circle cutter at the ready. As well, what I'm going to need for this, I need my mat. Because of the increments and the measurements, we're going to be working on our mat, and we're going to use all the little grid lines on the mat. I like the 1/4 inch grids because they are easier for doing some of the formulas on this one. So pull out your old mat. I did send a note in to CM head office to redesign the new mats because I do like the 1/4 inch squares. You'll need to know your center on your mat. It gets confusing to read. I went ahead and added a little Sharpie marker to confirm where my center is. To help me along with my spacing, I'm going to use some post-it notes, and it's just so I don't have to think to measure every time. It will hold my spacing down for me. We are going to create the circle upside down and then flip it onto our base. So I am going to use, two-tone paper this time so I can show you how to do two tones. And my finished size on this one, according to my chart, the chart I'm going to have in the idea sheet listed below, is going to just be one solid chart. I just made one with a flowy slide so I can add extra measurements and keep things going. So this is the one I'm going to be doing. The finished size is going to be 6.5 inches. And I've already cut my mat size for that, which is going to be the finished size, 6.5 inches. That was with the large circle blue blade on the outside. So I am going to need 4 squares, 2.5 inches in size, and I'm going to cut them diagonally. Because I don't want to have to measure and then move and reshift things 10 million times, I'm just going to build it once upside down, and then I'm going to flip it over onto the mat. And in order to see what I'm doing as I'm working, I'm going to be working with some vellum. So I'm going to do vellum. This need it either 4.5 to 5 inches, and it's going to be centered on my mat as well. So here's my mat. So this is where I'm working. I'm just going to put the bit of vellum down here. Just going to hold it in place. Yeah, it's a repositional tape runner for this one right here. So I'm going to be working with my pieces on here. And then vellum size, place this far away, trim it, trim these mats. There's your mat, and then you're done. Okay, so I'm going to set these instructions here, and we'll go through them one at a time as we go along. There we are. I don't know if you can see them on my camera's angle a little bit there. Good. So the first thing it says with this one here, My finished circle side is going to be 6.5 inches. That's what I'm trying. So I need 4 squares 2.5 inches wide. So let's make some squares 2.5 inches wide. So slide that in at the 2.5. Square is 2.5 by 2.5. So let's go down on my trimmer here. 9 minus 2, that's 1, 2.5 is at the 6.5. 1, that's half. 1, 2 will be at the 4. And then I'm going to go 1, 2.5. That's 3. I'll need another 2.5. This is great for using up some scraps. I'm just doing neutral tones because I don't know which page this is going to go on yet. 2.5. All right, there's my 4 squares, 2.5. And what I need to do with my 4 squares is I need to make them into triangles. So I'm going to cut my square in half diagonally by sliding it in along my trimmer. Going to line up the top point, the bottom point on the edge of the metal. Just like so. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I'm going to give it a little snap. And this is my start. This is what you need to start. You need 8 triangles of squares cut in half. Time to set everything up on my mat now to do my centering. Now when I do this, now these are pretty even two tones. If you have a specific side you want to see up, when you are placing these, you are going to want to work with everything upside down. Okay, and I am going to alternate colors on this one. So this one's going to be up, this one's going to be over, this one's going to be up, this one's going to be over, this one's going to be, I like that one better. I'll switch you out. You're going to be dark. Which ones do I like better? I like that tone. I like that tone. I like that tone. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to be dark, dark, and dark. So this is the way they're going to go on the page. And I need to set them up. My vellum, I've got, I think it's a 5 inch is mine. It says 4.5 to 5. I have to place my square centered on the X and the Y axis, so up the center line. So it's going to be centered. So if I go on my center line, I just want to make sure that I'm equal distant on either side, which is 1 1/4 inches on both, because that's half of 2.5. And then I want to place it 3 1/8 from the bottom line. And this is where your post-it notes will come in handy just to hold your spaces. So I go 1, 2, 3, 1/8 of an inch is between the 1 and the 3/4 inch. Now with these ones here, in the end, you may want to do some juggling because it depends when you cut with your trimmer. If you cut at the front of the line, the middle of the line, or the back of the line, it may affect some of your spacing, but this is where you can do all your adjusting. So 1, 2, 3, and 1/8 of an inch is here. 1, 2, 3, and 1/8 of an inch. Put it away so the post-it's there. 1, 2, 3, and 1/8 is here. And then 1, 2, 3, and 1/8 is here. This makes it really easy for me to line these up now. So what I want to do is I'm going to start with my first four colors. And this is the back side I want. So I'm going to flip them all over now. So the ones I want to see facing are all upside down. So here we go. My first 4 colors are going to be centered along here. This is where you get your bit of your adhesive to hold it down. I'm going to go centered between here up to the paper, and I'm gonna tack that down. There we go. That's number 1. I'm gonna do number 2 over here. So I'm gonna go along here, centered between those 2 points. I'm gonna place that down on my vellum, and I'm gonna work my way around. Now make sure you're always going the same direction. So if my angle's this way, you can go this way, but just make sure whatever you're doing is the same as you go around, like you're like a little pinwheel. Gonna go across here, center between my 2 center points up at the top. There's number 3. Add some vellum on here, bit of adhesive, center between those 2 points. And there's number 4. All right, I do like the 5-inch square. Now these ones here we're gonna slide in now so they fit in the space. So the point here is with the point of my triangle here, and this is gonna sit here. And this is again where you can adjust your little spacing out or in. You just wanna make sure everything here looks pretty much the same. I like that, so I'm gonna add some adhesive here and stick that one down. And this is just to hold everything in place. That look difficult so far? This one should go over a bit. I didn't place that right. One on either side. That spacing looks better. Here we go. Next one in here. From that point to that point, nicely centered in here. Last one going in. There we have it, in that point to that point. And everything is nicely centered on my mat. I can take away my Post-it notes now. So the next step after this is to cut this into a circle. Unless you want your hex to have an outside edge, then you're basically done. You just gotta glue your mat on the bottom. But if you do want to have a circle shape, we are going to cut this. And so I'm gonna center my circle on my mat. Now on my circles, some time ago I did mark centering lines on the edges so I can quickly center mine. And to do this, you do have to stand really up and down right over the top to make sure you have it right. Now when you are cutting these, now I'm going to cut them with the green blade because my mat's going to be the blue blade. So I'm going to go on the inside and go around. Now you may get caught up going in between the spaces, so a lot of times it's nice to cut a little bit on the inside out and then back across through each circle. It may be a little tricky to hold these all down and do it at the same time, so you just got to go nice and slow at this part. This is going to be the trickiest part of the whole activity. So both feet in the track every time. I'm just going to go here and out. One, make sure I'm on this one. Go across that one and that one. Make sure I'm in the track here. 2, off comes my centers. Coming up here over the top. 1 and 2. Next one. Everything's off there. That's off. There might be a little bit of adhesive, right, from your circle. There we go. 2 more to go. 2 more to go. Nothing sliding. Around the outside. Number 1 and number 2. Now this one does look like it's shifted a bit. Going over the top. And check this one more time. 1 and 2. All right, we look good. Taking away all our pieces, our little bits. This one had a bit of a bend as it hit the blade. Like I said, if you slide into it, sometimes it will make it slide back. There we are. There is all my pieces in a nice hex shape. Now I just need to add my mat on the background. So because I'm sticking it down, I am going to add my adhesive to my blades now, because everything is exactly where I want it to be. And again, I am using repositional tape in case I do want to shuffle something around. All right, so let's pull this off. Let's grab a multi-tool for that. And we're just gonna slide underneath with our vellum that I just quickly tacked down. Pop that off. Everything's got adhesive on it, so I'm just gonna come over the other side. Gonna center it nicely on my circle. Gonna put all the edges down. You don't want to rub this adhesive into the panels to have it stick down. And now we'll just slide off our vellum and remove it gently to show off our finished shape. There we are, and if we have any adhesive left on top, again, just a quick pickup square to take any adhesive off. And there we have it, one nice panel shape. Now I use these for my job. This is my final sketch layout. Just to have some fun with it. I went really big. Now these photos, these are the ones, I have my power sort box. Everything's organized either chronologically or by theme, but you always have those odd photos during the month. You have this birthday party or that hike or whatever, but you always have these few random ones that you just take around the house. So I said I'm gonna do an around the house page, which makes a nice little filler page, and it's just snapshots around the house. For this, I did use the Creative Memories border maker system with the film strips, and I did punch the film strip nice and long like this, and then I cut it in half and I glued it down the outside of a white photo mat. So I made my photo mat a 1/2 inch wider than you would call for a perfect spacing, and I added the little strips here to make that look like a film strip. The film strips itself I did punch out, and they look amazing when you back them with some vellum. So your image, right, if it was white it looks nice, but with a bit of vellum, you just have to tack it along the outside edge. Your part of your background will show through. So that just kind of looks just so cool there. I added a second camera frame embellishment down here, and I used paper that gives you kind of that photo burst spark look. You can add an extra camera frame. So with the camera punch, you can add some extra accents. It is so funny that in a digital cell phone world that the camera shutter, and the old film strips are so ingrained in our photographic psyche that you incorporate them and no one seems to have an issue with it. For this layout, I did use the around the house for my caption saying, because that's what those photos were. But because it is photographs and shutters, you can use them for so many different layouts and sketches. Your page titles can be picture perfect memories, captured in time, shutter speed moments, focus on the good times, framed for fun, life in snapshots, zooming into happiness, through the lens of love, click, capture, cherish, freeze frame favorites, shutterbug, always camera ready, smile, or selfie. I'll include these lists of possible page titles in with the notes for this lesson. You will find all the instructions on how to obtain those in the description below. Thanks again for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.